This is the Cannondale F29 Alloy, and I've had it for about 3 months, put about 500 kilometers on it now, so I have a pretty good feel for the bike. And thought I'd write a review, or send a review out, just because I like this bike so much. I had a Cannondale trail before, and then just got into it, and so I started using this. Previous to that, I had a full suspension Norco Shinobi, which was a little more for the North Shore trails, and I've just toned down my riding. I do a little more fast, sweepy off-road now, mixed with some just climbing on the road. So yeah, this hardtail bike is amazing, and comes with the Lefty fork. I can't say enough about this front end. It's light, it's stiff. You've got your lockout here. That would actually be my only criticism of it, is it doesn't have the on-bar lockout, so it can be a little tricky if you're switching while riding. This really nicely machined piece here tends to be a bit sharp and a little bit tricky to actually switch between, but it just makes it so that you have to anticipate your switching just a little bit ahead of time. Cannondale's bars are good. The grips, I found on my last bike I had a little bit wider diameter bond trigger lock on, though these Cannondale ones, they lock on really tight. They can, I think a little wider diameter gives you a little less arm pump, and is a little more comfortable, but otherwise the front end of this bike has really great control. It's got Shimano Dior shifting and brakes, which stop really well. There's no shimmy in the front fork, even at speeds of almost 70 going down a hill. You can be braking pretty hard and you're not going to get a shimmy out of that front end, which I've had problems with on my other bikes. So yeah, overall really happy. I guess one of the downsides to this too is that you can see I've got a piece of tape across here. I just noticed that the cables were giving a little bit of rub on this dark paint, so just to protect my paint I put the cables there, but just the way the Lefty wraps here, it's a little bit of a tight fit, and the way the external cables kind of clip on, so you get a little bit of rub on the cable, so I just put the tape there to protect it. So just a cosmetic thing, but I like my bikes to stay pretty, so if you didn't notice that, you might have had already a lot of wear in your your frame by now. Looking at the other side of the bike here, if I come around to the side, you've got your SLX shifting, and a really neat part of this was that you've got a bit of a clutch system on these, so you can kind of toggle it on or off. When it's on, your derailleur just remains stiff, kind of eliminating chain slap, which if you're off-road on a hardtail, it can be a pain, and just loud, you might lose your chain or whatever. So having that option is great. And, you can see when you turn that back off, this has a little bit more give to it. Overall, the gearing I found really efficient for climbing. My Strava times climbing anything relatively steep on the road have actually been better than what I was able to do on a Cat 8 road bike. So the geometry on this bike is set up for climbing. It feels really good, and I can't say enough, it's gotten me right back into cycling. So yeah, it's not, I'm not the greatest with reviews, but I hope this is helpful, because I couldn't find anything on this bike when I went to purchase it. So if any of you guys are looking for an end-of-the-year bike, this was a great price point. I think they started at $23.99 US, and I got it reduced at Caps Westwood Cycle here in good old Port Coquitlam, BC, for a bit less, as it was an end-of-the-year sale. But I mean, to get this Lefty fork and this gorgeous Cannondale aluminum frame, it was so far it's well worth the money, and I don't plan on parting with this bike anytime soon. I hope this was helpful.